Now, here's what you gotta understand, guys. Here's what you have to understand. Classic WoW is kind of over, right? Let's get it out of the system, right? Classic WoW is over. Classic WoW has been done for, you know? We had Vanilla WoW, Classic Vanilla WoW from 2019, August 2019 until sometime May 21 or something like that. So that's like almost 2 years of Vanilla WoW, the classic edition, ladies and gentlemen, right? We had a lot going on at that time. That was the time where we had rank 14, Grand Marshal. That's been reached. And don't tell me, Scarab Lord, don't tell me something. Do not even mention these PvE titles and these PvE achievements. Ladies and gentlemen, do not mention these things. These things are irrelevant. They have no meaning whatsoever. The only thing that matters in Vanilla Classic WoW is rank 14 Grand Marshal. It is a title that is going to be that was removed as soon as TBC came out, and it will not return to the Classic series, as Lich King is going to be the last Classic expansion that comes out. Don't tell me Cataclysm. Don't tell me they said, we want to hear your. Of course they're going to say they want to hear your opinion. Of course. Don't be crazy, you know. Don't be crazy. It doesn't need a genius to figure out that Lich King is going to be the final Classic iteration that they're gonna release. Yeah, I know they announced that, well, after that, that's up to you guys, depending on the demand, etc. You know, let's be real, guys. Nobody fucking wants Cataclysm, you know. They said, depending on the situation, we can add some things into Cataclysm and make it different. Believe me, guys, nothing's gonna happen. The team didn't even want Classic to exist from the beginning. It's just a few key individuals at Blizzard who together with a poll. I don't know if you guys remember this, or if you already suffered from amnesia. You know, there was a poll that they did on what do they call this poll website? Something like I forgot the name. Anyways, it's a famous website where you do a poll and you gather the very, very simple opinion gathering, where you get the opinions of all the people who click on the poll. And apparently this gathered 1 million people who submitted their opinion that they support Classic WoW, because the idea that Blizzard had before this was that Classic WoW is something that we don't want. It's going to compromise retail WoW, and it's there's no demand for this. And people were like, "Whoa, look at the private scene community," and they're like, "No. Those don't represent the actual numbers." So it turns out that some developer at Blizzard, I forgot his name. I don't know names, guys, right? He did this poll. It was and then submitted to the administration, and they said, "Listen, guys, come on. We want to do this game because we fucking like this game." You know, Omar Gonzalez and these kind of folks, right? So they did Classic WoW. They didn't want to, but they did it. They did it, and it was on life support ever since, guys. The actual folks at Blizzard, they don't want Classic WoW. They don't. You can start to argue and say, well, blah blah blah. They don't want Classic WoW, guys. So there's not going to be. Let's just be real. There's not going to be any Classic iteration after Lich King. Nobody wants it, and they don't want it, and I don't want it, and I don't think you want it. I think you do, but I don't think you do, right? Let's just get this out of the way. Point number 2, guys. Point number 2. Since Lich King is going to be the last Classic expansion that's out, what are the most important things to take with you from Classic Vanilla, Classic TBC, Classic Lich King? Well, there's one most important thing that you got to get from Vanilla WoW, guys. It's Grand Marshal. You got to get Grand Marshal. If you don't get Grand Marshal, what the fuck are you doing? I'm sorry, what the hell are you doing? Doing fucking ZG? Trying to get the Tiger Mount? Yeah, cool, you got the Tiger Mount. It's still going to be available on Lich King. It's not going to be removed from Lich King, you know? It's going to be there forever. You can mount it, you can farm the mount for the next 10 years. There's no urgency to get the ZG mount. You're doing what do you call this? Ragnaros, you know? You're collecting tier 1, tier 2 gear, you know? For what? It's going to stay in the game, you know what? What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing, you know? The Grand Marshal. The Grand Marshal is that one thing that requires a hardcore style of gameplay, huge consistency, very difficult to obtain, and a huge competition with the whole pool You know, it's very difficult. It's not easy to do, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just be real, and let's just be very honest with ourselves. That if I would ask you, would you like to have Grand Marshal? You would say yes. Don't tell me all rank 11 is enough because of the mount. Don't tell me all I needed was rank 13 because I don't need the weapons because there are better weapons that come out in X. Don't rationalize and to try to cover up your original opinion or the original intention of being bothered that you did not get it. That is the original intention that you have, or the original feeling that you felt. The fact that you did not get it has caused you to feel upset about that. I understand that, but do not try to cover it. Don't try to rationalize. Don't try to say, oh, I didn't want it to begin with. Oh. No. Say that, yes, I wanted it, but I could not get it. Be honest. Be honest with yourself, and be honest with the people that you talk to. But do not disrespect me by offering these kind of weird explanations how you actually did not want to have rank 14. Now, some people already predicted this. They predicted this would happen. So they made up their opinion from the beginning when you'd ask them, or he would ask you, oh, you called yourself Field Marshal. You want to go for rank 14? What do you want to do? I say, oh, I'm going to go for rank 14. They say, you're never going to reach rank 14. I'm just going for rank 13. You know? So they already made up their opinion from the beginning because they predicted this kind of scenario. They know that if they would announce the rank 14, it's impossible that they would get it. For some reason, they think it's impossible to get it. Each to his own, but for some reason they have this lack of self-esteem, I would call it, for whatever reason. And they know that they will not get rank 14, right? So they start to make their opinion that, first of all, they announce that they don't want it in order to avoid embarrassment when they actually don't get it, and to avoid embarrassment when they meet you once you are rank 14, you see? So that's the thing. Announce that you want it. Be honest with yourself. If you don't get it, that's fine. There's no shame. There's no shame in admitting that, yes, I have wanted this, but I have not been able to achieve it. This is the world. Sometimes you get things, many times you do not get things, even if they're very important to me. But they bind it to some kind of self-pride. It somehow defines for them how good you are in the game, and for them the game is so important that the caliber in the game defines who you are as a person. They take it in depths that are very, very abstract. Ladies and gentlemen, Classic WoW, Vanilla WoW, Grand Marshal, nothing else. Scarab Lord, I would understand, since it's going to be removed. Yes, I understand that, ladies and gentlemen, that Scarab Lord, okay, could be something that you would take home. But let's be real, guys. Scarab Lord is a PvE achievement. It's an indirect competition with your server. And let's be real, guys, there were tons of guilds that were offering a GDKP service in order to get the Scarab Lord title. You know, they were offering it. You know, you pay the money and they reserve a spot. They reserve you the winning spot to get the to get the title of Scarab Lord, which is what happened, guys. That was the meta in how to get the Scarab Lord in Classic WoW. There's nothing really special about it. There's no direct competition with other players. Grand Marshal, in comparison, no, it was different. You had to directly compete with players, and you had to indirectly compete with your own faction about the brackets and the standings. I'm going to make another video about that and explain one of the most underground, sophisticated, and organized gaming experiences or groups in the world of online video gaming that has ever existed, that was resembled in the Classic WoW community, that has been ranking rank 14 in an organized fashion, ladies and gentlemen. That is something that I'm going to do in another video. Alright, Vanilla WoW, Classic WoW, Grand Marshal, let's all agree on that. TBC comes out, what's there from TBC? The Zul Aman bear? Fuck that, you know? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but the bear, it's like a mount, you know? Fine, if you want it, I understand, okay. There's one thing from TBC that you gotta get, guys. Raiding Naxxramas is now possible. You're not getting defeated, and your pug is not going to be destroyed and wiped, and you're not going to say, oh, Classic is easy. Yeah, fine, Classic is easy. In theory, I understand, fine, okay, I take that argument, but in practice, it's not. You got a lot of retards, a lot of people in the raid who fuck up, a lot of people who are tired, and you fucking wipe. You know, you fucking wipe, and you got to res, and you do this 2-3 times, and the raid turns into a 4-5 hour raid. Come on. Come on. And then the weapon actually drops once in a lifetime. And who gets it? The nice guy. The nice guy in the guild who scored nice guy points, you know, in the guild. And, oh, that guy deserves it. Yeah, he deserves it. Come on, let's give it to that guy. You know what? Bullshit, you know? TBC is the time where GDKP groups were thriving. You go into Nex, you pay for the item before you go into the raid. You do not waste your time. The raid takes maximum 2 hours, an hour and a half max, because everybody's level 70. You bid for the item, you reserve it, you win the bid, you reserve the item, and once the item drops, it's yours. No bullshit. Nobody's nice. You don't have to score nice guy points. You don't have to be part of a guild and somehow clutch balance the social parameter of your level in the guild. You know, what the fuck? You know, what the fuck? We don't have time for this shit. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not have time for this kind of stuff. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But we do not have time for this. You know, that's why it's called a GDKP Gold. In the past, it was called DKP, which was, you know, the Guildmaster would give you points. He would assign points for different members, and then, I don't know, it's kind of abstract and hard to quantify, and, you know, you cannot measure it. GDKP, very straightforward. You got the gold, you win the bid, you get the item. Fair. It's nothing is fairer than that. You can tell me, okay, how did you get your hands on the gold? Well, let's keep that for another video, you know? But let me just say this. If you had problems getting your hands on gold, that's your problem. It's your issue. It's not my problem, you know? That's your issue to deal with. Your conscience, whether it was your conscience that was in the way, whether it was fear about consequences, whether it was this, it's your issue, not my problem. Well, Corrupted Ashbringer, TBC, that's the most important thing. Well, what comes next, guys? And here's what this video is actually about. What comes next is very, very important. And this is, you gotta listen to this carefully, guys. Lich King is gonna have a pre-patch phase. It's gonna last for 2 to 4 weeks, maybe more, maybe less, somewhere in that range. It was announced that Death Knights are going to be fully available in that phase. What happens in that phase? There are 2 things that happen. There is a gear set, which is specific to that pre-patch event that needs to be farmed and gathered and collected without doubt. It is a gear set that drops only in those 3 to 4 weeks, and then it is removed from the game. Very, very important to get your hands on, ladies and gentlemen. You have to do that. You have to do that. You got to get your hands on this one, because this is going to be removed from the game, and you will never have that chance again, ladies and gentlemen. Never. That's number 1. Number 2, you do this on the Death Knight. You do it on your main, whether it's a warrior or a paladin. If you play a mage or a priest, then do not even watch this video. You may proceed to watch some guides on how to win arena in retail. This video is not for you. But if you play a warrior or a paladin, then yes, this video applies for you, because it looks the best in its played version. Let's be real about this, guys. Let's be real. The played version looks the best. So you get this for your warrior, for the paladin, and you also get it for your Death Knight. The Death Knight, you do not see a lot of Death Knights who run around with this kind of gear. It is not something common, ladies and gentlemen. So get this gear on your Death Knight, get it on your main, who's either a warrior or a paladin. And then the last thing, guys, it is unknown as of this standpoint what happens to Naxxramas in the pre-patch. Whether it's already gone, whether Nax 40 is already gone in the pre-patch or not. If it's not gone, then ladies and gentlemen, you have to farm the Corrupted Ashbringer with your Death Knight. You got to do whatever is necessary. Take yourself a vacation, take yourself whatever is necessary, but you have to do that. You need to expose yourself to the chance and the luck of possibly being that person who gets the Corrupted Ashbringer during the pre-patch event of the Lich King. You need to do that, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the last and the final feat of Classic WoW. This is the most important priority that you need to do. And I pray to God that it actually drops, and I get it. I hope so. I really hope so, guys. This is going to be the last and the final feat of Classic before the final chapter of Classic can finally be closed. And and the whole story of Classic is finally over, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the I'm telling you guys, you got to do this. If it's not this what you're doing, then the hell are you doing? If it's not this what you're doing, then what the hell are you doing?